My name is Stephanie Gladman, and I'm the registered dietitian. I've got two special people with us today, but I first wanted to acknowledge the fact that it is Nutrition Month. So this is super exciting. The month of March, we're celebrating nutrition and the wonderful things that dietitians do. This month, we are celebrating and exploring that eating well looks differently for everyone. Because depending on your culture, depending on your food traditions, personal circumstances, and nutritional needs, eating well looks differently. So without further ado, we'll introduce today's topic, which is, we have a special guest. So first off, I'll have my partner in crime introduce himself.
Yes. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jeremy Capone. I'm the wellness chef here. We have a super exciting class. And in addition to Nutrition Month, it is also Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And so we have our special guest, Chana Cohen. She is the patient support specialist from Colorectal Cancer Canada. Chana, welcome.
Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Steph. Awesome to be here with you guys. It is a very charged, exciting month, and it's my birthday month. So, woo! All right. So I just wanted to give you guys, thank you for having us on. We're really excited to be here. And just to give you a little bit of background about Colorectal Cancer Canada, also known as CCC. So just to let you know, we're a non-for-profit patient organization with a national reach. We were established about 25 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Barry Stein, who at the time of his stage 4 colorectal cancer diagnosis was 41. Today, he is incredibly vital, and he is the fire, the wind beneath our wings, propelling us forward here. The goal of our organization is to inform, educate, and advocate on all levels to the medical community, all the way to the greater population, patients and caregivers, in terms of disease prevention and support. We're quite involved in the fight to affect change on a grander scale also by providing real-world data, patient feedback, and experience to government officials and policymakers through a variety of national and international boards and committees, through our patient support program, which of course, is my special thing. We strive to create a stronger link between patients and the medical community, with the goal of enhancing patient and caregiver experience, because we know that this does affect disease outcome in a very positive way. So we've established a variety of specialized programs that focus on the trends in the field of colorectal cancer, ensuring that we provide up-to-date info and place the power where it needs to be, which is in the hands of those experiencing the disease firsthand. Just to give you a little update on some of the exciting stuff going on. So we have a Foods That Fight Cancer program, which is obviously very pertinent and where we're going to be posting your videos later from today's show. So this focuses on prevention, but we also have a ton of resources on our regular site, colorectalcancercanada.com, to give everybody, as Stephanie said, from diagnosis all the way through to survivorship, the importance of proper nutrition. So we'll send you guys the link in the chat, all the links that you need to find these resources. 2 upcoming events, which I will unbashfully push, and funny play on words, push for your tush. So that is our annual run/walk, 5 or 10K. You can create your own team. You can join another team. It's very dynamic, and actually rolling with the times. We're doing a second virtual event for this, August 28th. So everyone does the run on their own, and then we have some fun stuff that we're going to interact with. Early bird special till the end of March. I will send that link as well. So go sign up fast, pushforyourtush.ca. And also we have a colorectal community conference coming up on May 18th and 19th. Two separate days. We're splitting it up, 12:30 to 5 p.m., focusing on patient and caregiver needs. So a little, user-friendly, understandable stuff. We're going to break it down for patients and caregivers and try to get people engaged. And again, I will send that link as well. So I will stop talking and I will shoot to you, Jeremy. It's your turn, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah, for all those resources, all that information. Yes, we will be posting it I'll post it in the chat. We'll also post it on the links for the videos so that they live there and anyone can access those resources anytime they want. So thank you. And the Foods That Fight Cancer site, just to reiterate, an amazing site, some great recipes, so colorful, beautiful, very inspiring. So well done. Great job there.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay, so we're ready to jump into it.
Let's get started. Yeah. So I wanted to just first say, so, depending on where you are along your colorectal cancer journey, we're offering a bunch of different recipes in today's class. So the first one really focuses on, after surgery. This might include, like I said, surgery. It could be a combination of chemotherapy and radiation. And this might affect your diet, okay? And so, obviously chewing well and having the right foods and fluids to pass through the digestive tract is really, really important. However, for some people, this might affect their bowels and their movement. And for some people, it's important to really focus on a low residue, which means a lower fiber type of diet. So our first recipe, without further ado, Jared's going to show us, is a shakshuka recipe, which has more or less those foods that you want to, focus on to help with that low residue.
Yes, thanks, Steph. So we're going to do, shakshuka, which is, a delicious, it's a traditional egg dish cooked in tomato puree. And we're going to make sort of a different variation of it, slightly different variation of it, but trying to keep traditional as much as possible. This is great any time of day. That's the other thing I want to say is, eggs don't have to just be enjoyed in the morning as breakfast. I think traditionally we recognize them as breakfast foods, but this is a great lunch. This can be a great dinner. This can be, make a smaller version, great little midday snack. And so what we're going to do to start off, and I'm going to angle my camera down here. Steph, can you see the cutting board okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay, good. So I just lost the visual. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is some aromatics. We're going to make this really nice and flavorful. And I've got a couple cloves of garlic here. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of like chopping them up or slicing them so that they're incorporated throughout the dish, I just want to provide the flavor that they're going to offer. Especially, Steph, like you mentioned, is garlic one of those things that can be bothersome, garlic and onions?
So here's the thing. Everybody is different, and I really want to highlight that. And I was talking to Hannah earlier about it, and she mentioned, shakshuka is a great dish, and it's low in residue, but for her, it was irritating some of that acid reflux. So for some people who are experiencing that, garlic, any type of, citrus or tomato might be something that you want to, add in smaller portions, or maybe even avoid. All right. So the reason that, so again, like Jeremy said, you can have that as a flavor, but not necessarily eat it. So you could put it in the dish. Jeremy will show us, but not actually, you could have the flavor, but not necessarily eat it, which can be beneficial for most people.
Yeah, perfect. So we have the cloves in here, and I have just a little bit of olive oil over medium heat. And again, keeping it whole. So what we did was we crushed it. That way we're going to get some of that flavor out of the garlic. But keeping it whole like this, we have that option where after it sort of seasons the oil, we can just remove those cloves.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. If you're okay eating it, if you want to eat it, absolutely keep them in. The lucky one, I guess, it's a clove, but it's a nice way to get that garlic flavor without needing to consume it. So garlic is going in. Next up is some eggplant. And what we're using here, this is sort of a Japanese eggplant, sort of the long, smaller eggplant, which has considerably far less seeds than you would find in the larger eggplant. And so we're going to go ahead and chop this up. If you did want to peel it to remove some of the skin is very, very thin on the eggplant, but if you do want to peel it to remove some of the skin, you can easily do that as well, with a vegetable peeler.
Yeah.
Steph, can I ask you a question? Oops.
Sure. Yeah, please.
Okay. I was going to ask you, in terms of residue, like I know that skins are usually really fibrous.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So you want to limit, especially right after a surgery, you want to limit the amount of fiber in your diet. Okay. So so skins, seeds, want to make sure. So like if you're thinking an apple, remove the skin. If you're thinking that eggplant, remove the skin, take away the seeds. We've chosen this Japanese eggplant because they're usually, the smaller the eggplant, the less seeds that there are. You want to bake or cook your vegetables as much as possible, avoiding things like beans, peas, lentils, dried fruits, nuts, seeds, popcorn, any type of like wheat bread or whole grain foods, because those are going to be higher in fibers. The ones that you want to choose more of are things like applesauce or barley, mashed potato without the seeds. You could also do oatmeal or peeled pears, something like that. And really, it's about you might be able to gradually increase the amount of fiber, again, emphasizing that everybody is different. But at first, it might bother you. It might cause some pain. It might block the stoma if that's something that you have. So it's really important to kind of do things gradually. So removing that skin and those seeds and cooking those vegetables is super important.
Yeah, and it's, again, really easy. Take a vegetable peeler like I did to the outside, and you can take the skin off if you need it. And then I'm just going to add it right to that hot oil there. And again, medium heat, so it's not super hot. And we just want to cook that down, get some color on it, soften them up. So it might take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then in the meantime, what it can do is add some other big flavor components. Okay, so obviously the predominant flavor of the shakshuka is usually, you get it a lot from the tomato, but you might have some cumin in there. You might have some paprika in there. There's all kinds of different flavors and different variations you can, directions you can take it into. What I love is creating almost like a pesto. And so what I'm going to use is some herbs here. You can use parsley. Parsley is commonly used. I didn't have parsley. I had some cilantro, so that's what I'm going to be using here. I know a lot of people hate cilantro. Don't have to use it. Parsley is really good. You can use some mint. You can use some basil. And any of the dried herbs as well would be really, really great. Okay, so I'm roughly chopping it up here. And then I'm just going to, this is a very rough pesto. I'm just going to sort of dress everything on the board here. So I have my herbs, like I mentioned, got some cumin in here, some nice ground cumin, and what else did I put? Oh, a little bit of coriander in there.
Can I ask you a question, Jeremy?
Of course.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, turmeric, right, has huge anti-inflammatory properties. And, there's a lot of talk, a lot of dialogue about this with colorectal cancers because of the inflammatory, that's that ends up being like a major issue, right? All these inflammatory bowel issues. So is that something that would be paired well with this type of dish?
You can definitely put turmeric in here. Absolutely. Okay. And I think, Steph, in terms of adding turmeric, what's a nice little pairing spice we can use?
So, like Chana mentioned, turmeric has so many anti-inflammatory properties, which is really great. You want to add the curcumin, which gives the turmeric its golden color, which is an anti-inflammatory property compound, is actually best absorbed when it's paired with black pepper, which is the peppercorns. So you just want to add a little bit in, and that actually absorbs the curcumin more efficiently in your body.
Brilliant.
So great tip, pair together. It's super delicious and lots of health benefits as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would work really, really well in something like this.
And sumac, maybe even.
Yeah, absolutely. Sumac, you're going to get some of that. Sumac has almost a little bit of tartness, a little bit of tang to it, which is beautiful. And sumac would work really well in this. Actually, in replace of sumac, because it has a almost similar tartness to it, I'm going to add some lemon. And what I'm going to do first is actually take the lemon zest on the outside. So we're going to get a lot of those essential oils just by grating the lemon zest on the outside. And so if you didn't want to use the juice, like, you know, we always say if you can't tolerate that acidic juice, the lemon zest is going to provide so much of that lemon flavor. And so there's, you know, that's a great way to use it as well. So I have some lemon zest. I am, in this case, I am going to use some of the juice as well. So I'm going to use the juice, about half a lemon on here. And again, I'm doing this on.
I guess you could just put oil or water if you needed the liquid without the citrus experience that reflux.
Yeah, zest, and then olive oil would work too here. And that's what I'm going to do next. A little bit of olive oil on here, and again, I'm just dressing this on the cutting board, keeping it very simple. But this is going to add so much flavor. I'm actually going to roughly chop it up just a little bit smaller, a little bit finer.
It must smell so good in there right now.
Oh yeah, it smells incredible.
Very jealous.
It smells incredible. All right, so all this flavor mixed together, beautiful. Going back to our pan, you can see we have some really nice color on that eggplant, a little bit of that garlic. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add the tomato puree. Now, tomato puree, this is just, you can find it in the grocery store. It comes jarred, canned as well. This is with the seeds and the skin removed in here. And I'm adding about 2 cups or something like this.
Awesome. Yeah.
Go ahead and add a little. Sorry, Steph. I'm going to add.
No, continue.
Add about half of the herbs here, and I'm going to crack my 2 eggs. You can do 4. I need 2 for later on, so I'm only going to crack 2 here. And we're going to crack it right on top, and then put the lid on it.
Awesome. Yeah, and this is a really great thing. Again, everybody is different. If someone's experiencing like excess odor, if they have a bag or something, you know, maybe eggs isn't necessarily the go-to protein, right? So, but it is low in fiber, right? So again, just really emphasizing that it's about trial and error, and, you know, understanding what works best for you. But again, you know, focusing on those low residue type of foods that are lower in fiber can really help the you know, the output that you're experiencing.
Jeremy, can I be annoying again? Ask another question.
You're not annoying. Absolutely.
You're never going to want me back on the show. I love cooking, and like this stuff really excites me. So, and it's funny because like I'm of Israeli descent. So I'm like, did you guys choose this? Cause of like the whole, like, it's a Middle Eastern dish. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if there's ways to kind of cut up the steps, you know, if someone's tired, they can't stand at the stove for too long, you know, chopping, like, you know, people can also sit and chop in advance, maybe in the morning, and then do things more slowly as the day goes on. Can this stuff be prepared and left for a bit?
Yes, absolutely. So really a lot of this is assembly, right? We have a jarred tomato, you know, that's a good pantry item. You can have, you know, if you have eggs in the fridge, not much you have to do there. A lot of the pesto stuff can be made in advance. You can chop that up, cover that with, you know, oil, put it in the fridge. And that'll last, you know, covered in oil, that'll last a couple weeks, no problem. But also making it easy for yourself. We did this from scratch. If, you know, buy a jar of pesto. That's going to make things so much easier for you, and take it, you know, from the fridge, cupboard, and you can sort of scoop that in. So yes, planning in advance does help, but also relying on some of those pantry essentials, I think, is key. So, stocking your freezer, stocking your pantry, and we'll go into that a little bit more later. But that's going to cut out a lot of that work, that prep work for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're enjoying, your meal, you want to make sure that you're eating slowly, that you're chewing, that you're in a relaxed setting if possible, because this can help prevent stomach gas and pain. And the other thing is to note that, there are certain types of foods, maybe you really enjoy your breakfast with a cup of coffee, right? Or you enjoy different types of teas or chocolate. Just something to note is that having too much caffeine, because caffeine can be not only found in coffee, but also chocolate and teas, and this actually might increase someone's output, right? So just something to be aware of. Everybody is their own kind of Sherlock Holmes investigator type, and, recording your food intake, especially in the beginning, to kind of understand better what are some maybe trigger foods, what are things that work best for you, so that you can kind of get back on track type of thing. It's not to say that, having low residue in these things are things that would bother you forever, but they are things that for a lot of people, especially after a surgery and having an ostomy, after an ostomy surgery, might increase output, right? So it's just something to be aware of.
Perfect. So we have the lid on. I'm going to keep it on. I just took a little peek. I'm going to keep it on maybe a minute longer. But I was also going to mention the tomato puree. If you did want to substitute, I have done this before with even just adding a little bit of stock. So you can add just a little bit of veg stock as your sort of your liquid base. Again, it's not as traditional for shakshuka, but I break the rules all the time. And it would still create a really nice sort of stewed, poached egg dish, and you can still keep those really nice flavors from your pesto and from your veg in there. So you play with it, like Steph said, and I kind of said as well. Make it to your needs, right? And that goes with the flavors as well. We have a question: can you make the pesto ahead of time and freeze it? Yes, that's another good option. If you don't want to keep it in the fridge, these pestos last such a long time, and it's also a good way to use up some of that extra herb. So in the grocery store, sometimes they sell the big bunches of parsley and cilantro and mint, and you only need like a tablespoon for your recipe. Instead of watching it slowly disintegrate in the back of your fridge, pulse it up, make a quick pesto, and put it in the freezer. You can put it in like a flat Ziploc bag, or put it in little ice cube trays. And that'll store for a long time. So another good option. Thank you for the question. Also, Hannah, yes, I chose this recipe because this is actually one of my favorites. So
nice.
I'm happy that you've had it before and you enjoy it.
Yes, very much.
Perfect. Okay, so we are pretty much done. Now you want to cook it until, again, you want to make sure it's cooked all the way through, or cooked to your liking. But this is.
Oh, that looks so good. But wait, Steph and I don't get any of it. It's just you eating this.
I know.
He's going to ship it over.
Sweet.
We'll see how well this stores in shipping. And that's pretty much it. What I would do here now is I'm going to transfer this to board here, bring it down here, bring the cam over as well.
Oh, such a nice color.
Yeah, really, really nice color. And then what I would do is just take a little bit more of that really sort of rough little pesto with the cumin, coriander, and some of that cilantro and the lemon. And the lemon at the end is just going to help to brighten it up, which is really, really nice.
Yeah. And no shakshuka is complete without some dipping type of carrier. So whether you want toast or pita or whatever, you might want to, in this case, have something that's more of a refined flour, right? Like white bread or white pita, again, to decrease the amount of fiber that you're having. But again, everybody's different. So if you can tolerate that, then go ahead and enjoy it with maybe more of a whole grain. The recommendation is to have a bread that has no more than 2 grams of fiber for those who are looking for more of a low residue diet.
So great call. I had that white pita here on the side to give it a little dip. And there you go. These are really quick and easy. Eggplant.
Yeah. And again, I'm just going to plug here on the Foods That Fight Cancer website. There are 3 amazing, great resources that go into details. One specifically talks about what to eat and drink after an ostomy surgery. So if you want, go check that out. It's available for download.
We have also nutrition information, a lot of it at the Colorectal Cancer Canada.com site as well. So one's more prevention based and the other is more like through the stages of cancer, from diagnosis all the way to survivorship.